How's it going? Welcome back to the shed. So yeah, just carrying on with more brackets. Got the ignition relocation bracket to finish up, and speedo bracket to make, side panels, and whatever I'm going to do with the brake light and the number plate. So that's probably enough to get started with. Don't actually know if that extra bolt on there is a bit overkill. I was just utilising a spare bolt. I might just trim it down. There we go. It's going to sit there. Oops, no, the other way up. Slight bend in it, just to bring it there. I think that'll work. So obviously that other piece I made earlier, which is now drying, I'll just go over the top of that. I'm going to spray all this up black, so it should disappear it a little better. But yeah, let's just check it with some tank clearance. There we go. Plenty of room there. I rather like that. Pretty chuffed with that. So that's the head steady and the ignition mount together, what I'm going to do is just in the corner there, hands are full at the moment, but just in there I'm just going to drill and tap for that, which will just be a little like locking grub screw. So should that nut come loose or whatever, I always like to have 2 bolts on something, you know, so it doesn't pivot. So that will stop the ignition thing mount kind of moving like that or the other way, just in case something gets loose. That'll kind of lock it in place. So just a extra little ting really. There we go. So that should just like a little extra just to stop it moving. There we go. Right, let's get some black paint on and get it drying, so hopefully we can see it all assembled before the end. So, headlight. Just having a little look at what I've got before I look at buying anything. So that was the square light that was on there when it was more of an America. This is another one I've got, which I just it's never been on anything, I don't think, because I just don't really like the style of it. The 2 contenders, so I've got this Easy Riders Japan one, which I've had for ages, which I think I was going to put on the hardtail. That's quite a nice one, with its little mount, very small little aluminium. I think they're doing a lot of knockoff copies of these now, which is a bit of a shame. The only downside to this one is it was the old what's the little filament type bulbs in there, anyway, it's not the H4 bulb, it's not an LED, so it's like the old little bayonet-y type ones, which don't throw out an awful lot of light, and you can't really fit a H4 bulb in this housing. So I don't know if there's any other alternatives. It's pretty small, that one, to get something to fit in there. I think it's a 4.5 incher, 4 3/4. So it's tiddly, but it doesn't stick out very far. Let's have a light's probably going to be a bit crappy, but I quite like the way that sits. Oh, I should let me close the doors because you can't see anything. So, yeah, that one would sit about there. Trying to zoom out a bit for you. Quite nice, clean, low and compact. I'm not massively keen on the holes, decorative holes on there now. But you know, it's 2 minds. The other one, it's a bit bigger. I think this is 5 inches. It's really bright, and I've got to try and remember that, you know, this bike I use every day, predominantly through the winter as well. Well, not predominantly, half the year through the winter, and it's very dark, and I can't see where I'm going half the time, even with good lights. So it's nice to have some good illumination, and this is pretty bright. It's one of these little LED ones. It's also got, it's very low profile. It doesn't look, well, me personally, they look a little bit space agey. I don't know, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. Not on a retro, modern retro-y bike, but it kind of sits quite nicely, and I like this kind of flat, you know, very sunken back kind of look. So that appeals to me. The downside to this, I think these are intended as like a retro insert, a retrofit insert into existing headlight shells, and as such there are no mounting points. I've tried to open it up, but it's a sealed unit at the front. There's these kind of little covered over holes here which have got small holes underneath, which I might be able to drill out a little bit bigger and see if I can put an insert in there and just give me a mounting point for a bracket. Probably go bottom mount, but we haven't got much space. I don't want to end up with debris inside here either, so I'm just having a little think about what I could do. Right, I'm going to have a little think on the headlight situation, because I'm not completely convinced yet what I want or made up my mind. So the parts are dry, so the old ignition relocation switch is together, so we might as well pop that on the bike. When I was looking back at some of the footage, I did wonder if I should cut in these sections a little bit, but no, I think it'll be alright. But yeah, I quite like it with the black plate on there. So let's pop that on. There we go, all mounted up and done. I'm actually not as bothered by those angles there now. I think it just kind of disappears. Oops. Quite happy with that. The only thing I think I'll probably do, I'll maybe get some bigger sleeves and spray them out black for there. That's just literally the bolt. There's no kind of spacer sleeve in there at the moment. I mean, this is quite beef. I'd have to lean on it some to bend it, but yeah, that might be aesthetically quite nice. But other than that, I can call that a sorted solution. Let's do a quick view of the tank on. Yeah, like I say, I think I actually prefer that as a position, the ignition. That feels more natural than that one, or your original one, or the America one. I like that. I might even incorporate that onto the hardtail when we get around to it. Yeah. And we got the speedo mounted as well. That was actually a little bit of a pain in the arse, because they've got like these, well, they're kind of captive studs, if you like, inside there, and they're just mild steel, so it was a bit rusty over the years, and a couple of the threads were kind of a bit ruined at the start, a bit chewy. So I've to get enough kind of thread to keep that on, I had to take the other nuts off whilst holding that. I'd rather have been able to take them out completely and put a nice stainless stud in, but I'm just not breaking open all this Speedo, and I don't know how I'd crimp this back over. But anyway, so I cleaned the threads up, and then just to give me some more thread to use, I took some stainless nylocks and ground them down so they're just half nuts. They hold the stud in place, and then that one bolts on it. So that's actually, you know, should have been 2 bolts and a Speedo cable going on. That's taken a little bit of farting around just to make that good again, but it's on and it's solid. So another job ticked off the list. So I've just got the satin black tank on just for demonstration purposes, but slowly getting there. It's starting to look a little bit more like a motorcycle. Okay, so a lot of the time has been spent making and spraying up these brackets. So I haven't got them all done. This is possibly going to be the side mount, which I'm thinking might bolt on the inside here, where you can put the indicator mounts. There's a threaded, got an Allen bolt in there, so that'll be a one piece just bent round, and that'll just sit in front of the shock about there. Now I haven't fully decided yet quite what the illumination system is going to be. I'll probably have to have a little number plate light. I may not go for the brake light if I go for integrated turn signals and brake lights. I'm looking at a few different options and I haven't made up my mind yet. So I'm actually, because originally I was just going to put the other brake light back on the mount again, but I'm going to think on it, because it might be that we go much more simple here with this one. But yeah, that is pretty much where I'm at at the end of this video. So, end of another video. Doesn't feel like I've got an awful lot done, but it has actually eaten into the time doing those brackets and working them out. Which is a bit of it's all been okay. I would have always liked to have got a bit further, but yeah, that, for whatever reason, that's been quite time consuming this time. But there we go. I shall try and decide before next weekend what my lighting arrangement, front, rear and indicators, is going to be, and then that will dictate the side mount. Then I'm really looking forward to seeing what I do with the tank, whether I go with, well, I'm definitely going to try out the candy lime green, some accents and bits in there, with a lot of satin black, and if I cock it all up, it's just all going satin black. But we'll have a bit of a play, maybe, see what happens. Oh, and I've got to shape the seat. Every time I think the list is getting shorter, stuff. But there we go. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take it easy and see you next week.